Guys, welcome to my channel ProproductGuru, where I will be talking about all the product management stuff to help the people out there who wants to transition from any field to product management. In this video specifically, I will be talking and answering product design related questions. Please leave your comments and feedback in the below section, and let me know how do you like it so far. Thank you. So the question is, how would I improve Google Calendar, right?
Right.
Cool. Thanks for asking the question. I have few clarifying questions. Uh, First of all, I would like to clarify the product. What is Google Calendar, so that we are on the same page. So
Mhm.
Google Calendar is a product. It's on the mobile side as well as on the website, where it's like a calendar where you can book meetings. You can go to any dates, any month, year. You can filter on that. Whenever you book a meeting on a Google Meet, it automatically integrates and comes to your Google Meet or Google Calendar. So it gives the user a very efficient and very fast user journey with minimal clicks. So I think it's a very good product. So that's what I know so far. Anything missing?
No, I think general description is very good from your side. Yeah,
Okay,
this is
sounds
what is Google Calendar is.
got it. Cool. I think this is good. So what I'm thinking is, why there's a need to improve Google Calendar. Is there a specific goal in the mind, or I can think of, it can be either acquisition or activation or engagement. But my suggestion would be Google Calendar is pretty mature product. It's already there in the market for a long time.
Mhm.
So I would say that activation or acquisition might not be the goal because we already acquired a lot of users. So engagement might be a good goal. We want users to spend more time on Google Calendar. So my primary goal should be engagement. That's what I'm thinking about.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. So that being said, I would like to ask about any time frame in the mind. Are we talking about 6 months or 3 years or 6 years? Any time frame of improvement of Google Calendar, or I can pick up anything?
You can pick up anything, and yeah, if you will have time, probably you can differ two approaches: long term and
Got it.
short term. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So I will talk about long-term and short-term strategies. Cool. Any and improvements I'm thinking both from the mobile side as well as website everywhere, because Google
Mhm.
is a platform. They always think about they are not platform agnostic. They always think about the same user journey, so which is good. Cool. So as I mentioned, the goal of this particular problem is engagement, and it aligns with the goal of Google, which is to organize information and to make it easily accessible across everyone. So if we increase the engagement and we make sure that people who are coming to the platform are spending more time, that is actually aligning, and yeah, they are aligning towards the goal of Google. So I think that makes sense. So how I would like to talk about the problem is, I will like to talk about some of the users segments, and then we'll talk about their user journey. We'll talk about pain points. We'll also talk about some of the solutions which I think make sense for this particular enhancement. And then, if the time permits, I will talk about some of the risk and metrics to measure the success.
Mhm.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, great plan.
Okay, sounds good. Cool. So let's talk about the user segment. Just give me a few seconds to think about it. I have three user segments in my mind. First is office going people, like people who are working in a big enterprises. That is number
Hmm.
one. Second are people who are students. They are either high school or undergrad or grad students, can be anywhere. And third are people who are senior citizens. Um,
Hmm.
so the reason why I picked up these user segment, because every user has a different pain points, and they are mutually exclusive. Office people, they are very busy people. They look for time efficiency. They don't have time. They always keep looking at Google Calendar for their next meeting, and their calendar is mostly busy with meetings and stuff. Students, they have classes, and they have recreation activities. That's what they like to book the Google Calendar for. Mostly they don't use Google Calendar a lot. They usually save time and they remember things. Google Calendar is mostly used by students, but mostly used by B2B kind of environment, because it's a tie up with the Google and the enterprises. That's how companies usually use Google
Mm-hmm.
Calendar. And third, people, senior citizens, they usually use Google Calendar for medicines, for doctor appointments, and for going out on a walk, to remind them, okay, the time has come to go out on the walk. So stuff like that. So I would like to pick up one user segment, based upon. So our goal is engagement. How often all these users segments are engaging with my product? That is number one. So engagement is my matrix, and the second I'm thinking is impact. So engagement and impact, I would, from these perspective, I would like to focus on office going people or people who work in the enterprises, because they usually use calendar more than students and people who are senior citizens. And also impact will be great, because I think from the news and everywhere I read, there's a lot of disruption, there's a lot of market that has to be gained in the enterprise segment. B2C, we already have a huge market share, but B2B, we have to acquire a lot of customers. People are still using old software like Outlook and Microsoft 360 calendar and stuff like that. So, yeah, office going people, that's what I would like to focus. Any questions so far?
Very good point. Go ahead. And I like how you direct and how you focus on the office people who use Google Calendar. Yeah.
Okay. Cool, sounds good. Let's talk about the user journey. So just give me a few seconds to think about it. So what happens is, if I'm a office person, I go to office in the morning. I wake up in the morning. The first thing that I always check is calendar.
Mm-hmm.
I look at the calendar for how many meetings I have in a day. So if I have 5 meetings, 6 meetings, I plan accordingly. So yeah, before that, what happens is, before I go to bed, I look at the calendar for the next day, so that I wake up and put my alarm. Sometimes the meeting is at 7 a.m., sometimes 6 a.m. So setting up alarm, that's what I do. Then I wake up in the morning accordingly. I go to my office through my car, and then I attend meetings. And then I always keep on checking, when is the next meeting, when is the next meeting. Also, yeah, I as a business professional, as a worker, I always find difficult in finding time to work on myself. As in, if I want to devote some time to work on something, I don't find time, because my calendar is full of meetings and meetings. So that's the user journey I talked about. And clearly there's a lot of pain points and lot of problems in the current user journey, so we can fix all those things. Yeah, so I have three pain points. The number one is, again, it's difficult to find personal time to do my own work. People keep on booking meetings at my own on in my own calendar. That is number one. Second is time management. So I look for some tools which are more efficient time management. So I always, before go to bed, I always look at Google Calendar and plan my day accordingly. So something more efficient, that's what I'm looking for. That is number second. uh, Third is, whenever there's a conflict. So if I already have a meeting scheduled with someone, and there's another person who wants to schedule a meeting at the same time, there's a conflict of the meetings, and they scheduled it, or I have to cancel a meeting because of something came up. It's very difficult to say no to people, because that is important meeting, and it's with my manager. And when I tell him or her that, hey, you know what, because of some urgency, family urgency, I have to need to go, it doesn't look good. So those are some of the pain points I'm thinking. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. And let's think about that.
Yeah, so how I would like to prioritize that, again, is based upon impact and frequency. So impact, as in, how much is the impact for in when I look at the people who are going to office. whether it's a huge impact or less impact. Second, I will also look for the frequency meaning whether they face these kind of problem every day or maybe once a week or once a month. Based upon that pain point is makes it very important. So the first one is, it's very difficult for people to focus on the personal work. So I think that is very important. I think huge in impact and high in frequency, that is a problem that is being faced by a lot of people in the work. So I would say high in impact, high in frequency. More efficient time management, I think that is important, but the more specific pain point I was mentioning was you have to like always look at the calendar and manage your time a day before. I think that is a problem, but I would like to delay that in the next release. It's not that
Mm-hmm.
important for the first release, so that is fine. The next one was difficult to say no to people whenever there's a conflict or whenever I need to cancel a meeting. I think it happens every day with me. I need to think about what meetings are important, what are not. So I need a efficient tool which can help me do that. So in conclusion, I would like to focus two pain point. One is difficult to find time. Second is difficult to say no to people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So my solutions I'm focusing on. Okay, so I have total three solutions. So my two solutions are targeted towards pain point, which is difficult to find time,
Mm-hmm.
right? So for difficult to find time, my solutions are, so think about it that from 9 to 5 job, if I have four meetings in a day, and all those four meetings are spread out across the day, like 9 to 10, then there's one 11 to 12, then 2 to 3, and then 4 to 5, and I have small gaps in the middle where I can do my personal work, right? So why not Google Calendar can combine all those meetings like from 9 to 1, that's it, and then block my time accordingly automatically from 1 to 5, so nobody can block my calendar. So think about a UI where I will set that 4 hour every day nobody can block my calendar, and Google Calendar will, with its algorithm, will find 4 hours combined time somewhere in the calendar, so that my meetings are also not affected, my personal time is also not blocked, and I'm focusing on both the things. So that is number one. Second solution for this particular problem, to not finding the time. So not finding time, the problem is there's a lot of meetings that are there in the calendar, right? Some are important, some are not. So
Mm-hmm.
Google Calendar, because of the virtual assistant, or there's a because I'm using virtual assistant in my phone, so virtual assistant, or I'm using Google Meet, that Google Meet will listen to the meetings and will decide whether this particular meeting that is there on the calendar, whether it's very important for me to join or whether it's not important, or whether I can just skip it. So sometimes what happens is that if I'm a product manager, it's not important for me to join in all the sales call or all the engineering calls, or only few are important. So if it's like a PRD discussion, I know it's very important, but if it's like a transfer of information, maybe I skip it. So Google Calendar should know which one is medium means maybe I can attend, which one is very high priority, maybe organized by my manager, or which ones are low. So that will be suggested by me so that I can skip those meetings. So that is number two. The another pain point was difficult to say no to people. So the problem was if you have a conflict or you have a family commitment and then you have to cancel your meeting, right? How you can prevent that? So Google Calendar can create a virtual assistant that will go in on your behalf. So you can attend your family meetings and all, but the meeting will actually happen, and there's a virtual avatar which will be looking like you and have a brain like you. He will go and attend all the meetings, whoever is missing. So a premium feature for that, so we have to train that particular person. There's a machine learning algorithm associated with that. Google is already working on that, like deep learning, and with a duplex product. So I think that is another feature I'm thinking about. So these are total three features. I would like to pick up one based upon our time, which is so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as I mentioned, based upon our goal, which is engagement, and we have to think about short-term and long-term goals. Um, so so what I'm thinking is, just give me a second. So the pain point where I'm not able to find a time for my personal work, maybe the short term solution for this particular thing will be combining all the meetings so that they can club all together so that I can block my personal time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is a good solution. Other companies also doing it, like there's a lot of startups who are just working on this particular feature. I know about them. So I think that is very innovative solution that we should be focusing, and it can be built because Google already has a lot of technology built in the place. Second is a long-term strategy is building a virtual assistant which Google already has, like Google Assistant, but training it accordingly so that it will be replicating my avatar, and creating meetings or going to meetings instead of me. I know it will be there's a risk associated how we can train that, how it can act as a human being. Those kind of stuff are there, but for like smaller meetings, or for for something like, okay, whether you have completed a particular PRD, yes, no, that kind of answer we can send the virtual avatar. But for major decisions, we need humans. So
Mm-hmm.
that will be a little bit risk, but as the time goes on, long term strategy is to have bot trained compare, like instead of humans. So that's my solution. Any questions so far?
No questions. Very interesting conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, so last thing is metrics. How I would like to measure my success is, so the goal was engagement. I would like to measure how many the how many people are actually booking the meetings through our Google Calendar, through this particular solution, which is like combining meetings and blocking the meetings. What is the hourly time spent, so hours per week, per month. So engagement is a matrix because we want to know how many hours are spent. So I would like to measure in terms of hours. So hours spent per customer, per day, per month, or per year on a calendar after we launch this feature. And that is my North Star metrics I would like to measure. Yeah.
Okay, great. And quick question about metrics. How you will understand that something is going wrong and your feature is not popular? What metrics will be helpful for you in this case?
So in this case, if my feature is not popular, what metrics will be? So again, if my feature is not popular, then the metrics would be if the users are not spending that much time. So for example, before they used to spend 1 hour every day, right? After launching this feature, they started spending 30 minutes. Maybe they get confused. Maybe they stop using the feature, something on those lines. So that will tell me the feature was not great for the people, or they got confused. But on the other hand, if they started using for 2 hours or 3 hours every day, that means that it has a high engagement that achieves to my goal. So I think number of hours spent per day, per week, that is my important matrix.
Okay, let me reword my question. For example, I'm product manager and I have a problem with a schedule meeting in calendar, right? And after your feature, I started spend more time in calendar management. And is it success in terms of your feature, and is it success in terms of engagement of the Google product calendar in general?
Right. I think that is a success for Google product in general, Google Calendar. But the success for my feature would be uh, whether people are using this feature, first thing,
Mm-hmm.
and second is how much time are they spending on this feature.
Okay.
So, but overall, the goal is to increase the engagement for the Google Calendar. So that is my primary metrics. So yeah, again, to summarize, two important metrics. One is how much time is spent on Google Calendar overall, and
Mm-hmm.
second is how much time is spent on my feature, which is combining all meetings, and whether people are actually using this particular feature or not. So that is another one. So yeah,
Okay.
those are some of the metrics I would like to track.
Okay. It was a really nice and great answer. Thank you for your answer.